Welcome to another episode of Toro Podcast. Got Roger in the house.
Perpetual guest speaker.
Piero sleeping in.
He is sleeping in. We did try and call you, bud.
Yeah.
Text you.
Yeah.
You might be in a deep dive doing something. We don't know. Hope you're getting it in.
Yeah. No, man. We just got a good workout in.
As always, yeah.
Trying to rehabilitate the shoulders.
We're fully habit stacked now, man.
Dude, it's kind of crazy. We went from like gym bro, kind of like, to like, like if you do this movement, I heard your shoulders become better.
Yeah.
Totally old man, PT.
Pretty much went from like barbell and weight to bands.
Yeah.
Today was like almost half bands.
Half
and,
bands,
and weight,
half weights.
and body weight, and then we moved into weights.
Yeah. No, but it was good. I feel
Feel good.
Every single rep, my shoulder was popping. It was just like
The first
plop.
one sounded like someone dropped a book on the floor.
But yeah, trying to get that better.
Yeah, it's still good though.
Yeah. So the topic, I guess, not topic, but first thing I wanted to talk about is something I saw that was just hilarious. What do you think the number one thing of a new generation coming into the workforce when they're going in for the interview? What's the number one thing that they're bringing with them to an interview?
In terms of like preparation,
Just
or they're just like
they're bringing something with them.
so
Or
like all right. So let's just narrow it down like first job or like first real job.
First job.
First job, like it can be like McDonald's. You're 16, 17 years old.
anything.
It's
Yeah.
shirt on back, man, and resume maybe. Not bringing much. Maybe like a few questions like how much am I going to? Not even because
No, but like think before even get started. What do you think it's consistent about this new generation coming in? Like we think interview, right? Like okay, you dress up, you go in with your resume. You might have heard like bring a pen with you, and stuff like that. Like it's like so you're not asking for a pen, so it doesn't seem like you're unprepared. Like those are the kind of things that I've heard. Like what do you think the new generation is bringing that is pretty consistent from what this article is talking about?
like a phone. I'm not quite sure. Like do they like
I'll tell you,
yeah.
their
Go-
mom.
Really? Really?
Like I'm not talking about like their mom dropping them off. No. They're bringing their mom in
To the interview?
to the interview. Like, really? Really? Like your mom?
Where's this at?
I'll try to pull it up later and show it to you. But like basically, there's been all these reports of kids coming into the workforce now, like, and they're bringing their mom in with their interview. Like the whole helicopter parent, it goes all the way up to.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Oh my god!
Kids, bring your mom to your first interview.
No, don't
according
do
to
that.
El Toro Logic,
Don't do
podcast
that.
Logic.
Don't do that.
Well, hold on, right? If you're 15 or 16,
It's
Is it
not
a bad
cop.
idea?
It's not a cop. Like you can't say, "Oh, they're interrogating my child."
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying,
without
I'm
my
saying
consent.
is having a co-pilot a bad idea for your first time?
It's the workforce. The
I hear
whole
you.
point.
But
of,
like, what if you're like, bro? No, that's not. Don't ask that question.
it's not a lawyer.
Well,
Like,
well,
it's
what if
not-
like I'm just thinking like that could be a teachable moment. How would they ever know how to do an interview unless someone teaches them? And that's just on the job training
That's
at that
great.
point.
That's great. Like like go to more interviews. Sorry
They do
you
mock
failed that
interviews
one.
at home.
Do mock interviews at home. Teach
Okay.
your child.
Right.
Like the whole thing of like them getting a job is like the start of their independence. Their start of you teaching them to go out into the real world and kind of leave the nest, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's to me what getting a job at teenage years means to me. Like, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So my wife and myself, my wife more so than me, but she, with our girls, started that much earlier. Like, oh, you need things to take a shower with? We're
Yeah.
going to have to go shop for them. You need your clothes cleaned? Here's how you do the wash.
Yeah.
They're 9, 10 years old. Like,
Yeah.
those
No.
things start early. So,
My kids, yeah, they do, they clean their bathroom, they take turns on the weekend.
mm-hmm.
They, they do their laundry. My wife is awesome with like that stuff. Like she'll go around, doing the food shopping and be like, all right, now go to the store and get milk and eggs. That was I think we talked about this on an
was a
earlier
good story.
podcast, but I'll tell it again. So my wife gave my son milk, like an egg money, $20, and then he went and grabbed 2 cartons of eggs and milk, and it was like 21 something, and I was like, God damn, inflation. And the lady at the register put in like the $1.20 or whatever was left, and he came back and it's like, "Where's the change?" There was no change. And it's like, "Well, go give this to a lady." It's like, I didn't know. Next time when that happens, you leave an item. You don't just stand there waiting for somebody to pay. For
yeah.
it.
Yeah. What do can I take? I'll talk to you later. I'll get you next time.
Yeah, right. Like come on. Well, yeah, but that was hilarious. But yeah, like they learn to be more independent. That's 100% props to my wife for that one.
Yeah, the whole going out into the workforce, stepping into that starts much earlier in life. It starts with
Yes.
small chores, teaching independence in your side of your house, and then saying, you know what, like then when they get nervous about going to their first interview, you're like, it's not that big of a deal. It's like all these things you do.
Yeah.
It's like talking to a teacher for the first time, asking for help on a homework assignment to a teacher that you don't know. You have to introduce yourself. You have to explain in detail with context your problem and what you need.
That was 100%. Like I remember with my son, he had trouble like kind of talking to adults or reaching out when he needed help. And, that was drilled into him like, okay, you need to reach out for help. You need to, when you need something, you need to do. And now it's like second nature to him. He doesn't find
It's
something
good.
in the store. He's like, let's go ask somebody who works here. And
Ask the expert, man.
Yeah, like he has no shame into approaching, into starting that conversation. Again, 100% props to my wife for that. Like,
yeah,
I
absolutely. I give my wife all the props.
Oh
She
my God.
said it was her doing.
Dude.
Yeah,
I'll be dead if it wasn't.
I wouldn't be doing too good either, man. I would definitely
What
be.
would we do with our one? Like,
We would. Well, there would be some crazy ideas I have would have come to fruition that would be quite dangerous for me, for my own personal well-being and those around me.
yeah,
It would have been.
dude, it's crazy the amount
The
of things
times
that
I
they
haven't
juggle.
listened to my wife have come back to haunt me later on in life. So now whenever she speaks, I'm like, yeah, like I'm listening. I'm like, okay, all right, let me.
How long did it take you to get there?
Oh, I used to rage against the machine. It took me at least like a good 4.5, 5 years. Like,
Oh, you're a fast learner.
you think? Maybe longer. Maybe.
Tomorrow's 17 years married,
yeah.
being with, not married, but like 17 years being with my wife, and I don't think I'm there yet. I joke around. I mean, I do listen to her a lot, but like, I joke with her and I say, like, it's like you could tell me that pig is gonna fly and that pig takes off, and I'm still not gonna listen next
I'd be
time because it's like she, yeah, like. No, but she's amazing. I can't speak. Like I can't put it into words the amount of times that she saved our family. But yeah, like all the stuff that she teaches the kids and all the stuff. And I think we make a really good match in the sense that the stuff that she is, the stuff that I do and the stuff that she does complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like I take care of the boys. Like it's like, okay, teach them how to be a man. Like do all the stuff, like take them to Boy Scouts. Like basically learn how to do something. So yeah, it's just we complement each other in that way.
So I got to teach my daughters how to be a man. That was a hard one for me to. I was like, well, how do I
See,
do
and
what
now you're
my
complaining.
dad taught me
Yeah.
to like do for them, and it kind of came on. Yeah, it came up the right way. We did it. We made it happen. Oh, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, dude, I called it. I called it.
Ain't gonna-
He's like, I just woke up.
He's at 10 o'clock. That's a lie. He wakes up at 5 a.m. every day.
Was really late last night.
What was he doing? I got to know what he was doing. He never gets up late. I got to know what he was doing. I hope it was fun stuff. I hope it's not a sad story. And I'm making light of it now.
All right, let's bet. Let's bet.
All right. Yeah.
Wrong answers only. What was Piero doing?
Wrong answers only?
Wrong answers only.
Oh, man. Keg stands till 3 a.m.
Oh, dude.
That's a wrong answer for sure.
That's a good one. Let's see. Man, I don't want to be mean. I was going to say spend time with the family.
That's messed up. Wrong answers only.
No, I love you, Pierre.
This is good. It's a shame he can't even defend himself at this point.
Oh, God. No, but seriously, most likely.
He hit the gym really hard.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
I bet if it was a late night, I bet it was a combination of making an AI application and leveling up his Elden Ring character so he can play NP7, New Game Plus 7.
Yeah. No, man.
Or it might have been Rocket
100%
League night with
AI.
Little P.
100%.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. If it was late night, it was by himself.
Yeah.
So I was, I'll tell you. Like,
Oh, wait, was it work?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't
Nothing
think
blew.
so.
I didn't see anything blow up. Right?
No, I don't think it's work.
Research. He's going to say something fancy like, we're just doing research.
No. He was totally
creating-
playing around with AI.
Creating a holding company to hold my assets. That's what I would do. That's what I would like to do.
Is he ready? Let's see.
Long story.
Long story.
I feel like it's not a fun story now.
Oh,
I feel
man.
bad. We just we're doing it for the
man.
last 10 minutes.
Now I feel really bad.
We might have to cut it based if it's sad what he says, we got to cut this part.
All right.
We're not. Or we just leave it and
Yeah.
say sorry afterwards.
Say sorry. Better say sorry than to ask for permission. Right?
That's it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
All right, let's try him again.
Bet I know what he was doing last night. Virtual arm wrestling competition.
Yo, dude.
Yo,
What's up, man? How you doing, bud?
Slept in. I'm such a slacker, man.
dude, we were joking
Going on.
around. I was like, Pierre's a slacker. He's sleeping still. And all
Yup.
that stuff. I called it.
believe
I
it.
totally called it.
100,
I didn't believe it.
110. Well, I was up super late. Like Lily had her chop appointment, and and then I was slacking on performance appraisals. I had to get that in, and so it was. I think I went to sleep at like 4:30.
So it was working, taking care of your family. So Pierre, Jose,
I wouldn't
we
say
owe you an
slack.
apology.
We owe you an apology. I suggest do not listen to the episode when it started.
But you guys called it. I definitely, because I'm usually up by like 4:35.
Exactly, right?
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, we're
But
playing
I-
it. It was great. We're playing a game. Like it's like, oh, Piero was sleeping in. Like wrong answers only. What was he doing?
All right, come on, give me some insight. Give me some
no,
insight. What
no,
you-
because now I feel really bad because you were actually doing.
You're actually doing the things we said you weren't doing.
Oh, that's good shit. All right, I gotta listen to it.
Oh, okay. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
So we started off the episode by introducing a new fact of the new generation and what they're bringing in to a first time interview. So think of a teenager going into the workforce
Mm-hmm.
and what is something that's reported that kids are bringing in to the interview.
Like a skill set, a particular skill set, or like a mindset. Like
That's what
are
I
we?
said. I was way off.
They're
No,
bringing
no,
in.
no, no. I'm genuinely asking like
Yeah. Yeah.
the
So
question, right? Are we saying like
it,
what are
it's
they
kind of
bringing?
it's kind of like really bad way to ask it because it's really like who they're bringing in, you know.
So so when we say like all right,
So
so I'll
here's a
say this. I'll say this.
go
I'll say
ahead.
this. I think that the new generation has a different outlook on work and work life balance. I
Yeah,
think that they push that a lot. They push the envelope there a lot harder. Whereas our generation was more like I got to grind. And I'm not saying they don't grind because they absolutely do. But it's a different kind of grind where they're getting that right amount of like work life balance,
yeah.
and they're pushing for things like remote work and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like I
No,
think
but
it's just a
you're
totally
thinking
different
more
mindset.
corporate and everything like that.
Like
I'm talking about going to McDonald's and getting your first
first
job.
job. What do you
Oh,
bring?
oh.
16-year-old. What do you bring to your first
Oh,
job?
all right, all right. So that's why I was asking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the framing of the question. So, like first job that we're talking 16, 17 years
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
trying to get a job
Yeah.
at
First interview.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
What do they bring to the table?
Wh-
Look,
Like, all right, so here it is. I'll tell you.
yeah,
This is good.
yeah.
They're bringing their mom. And
Into
I'm-
the
Oh, I
interview.
saw that article.
You did?
I saw
in
that.
into their interview, like not just like oh mom is dropping them off, like into their interview, like
I saw something. You're right. I saw that same article. I think our algos are starting to get crossed. Like,
Well, hold on.
no, I caught that. I caught that. They said, yeah, Gen Xers
Gen
were
Z,
bringing,
yeah.
or Gen Z, yeah, we're bringing their parents on the interviews with them. But for what? I didn't read
To
the article.
interview as a team.
No,
To interview as a team.
Yeah, man.
Break it down
It's
for
their
me.
co-pilot. They don't know what they're
it's just
doing.
like
It's their
yeah,
co-pilot.
it's like looking to mom for like the like to me like we were just having this conversation. It's gonna get repetitive for the listener, but like to catch you up, it's like their job is like I mean, the whole thing of this to me is
Right.
their first step into the real world, like teaching them independence, teaching them everything.
Right,
and,
right.
and the fact that you're bringing your mom to it, it's like it's almost like counterintuitive.
I totally agree. If Layla, one of my kids came to me and was like, "Hey, I want you to team up," I would be absolutely not. I will help prepare you. I
Yeah.
will drop you off.
Yeah,
But I'm absolutely not walking through those doors with
Yeah.
you. Like that's something you got to handle.
So you're saying
for sure.
that you
You got to be
won't
independent.
you won't dress up in tuxedos and interview as a team with little P for his first job.
You know what? I won't say that I wouldn't do it. I would encourage him a lot to do it on his own. But let's say he had a solid argument for why he wanted to do it, and it became a thing, and it was frowned upon if you didn't. I mean, I could see me changing my mindset on it. I'm just thinking,
Would you wear a
could my
tuxedo?
mind be changed? I mean, not a tuxedo, dude. I sure not, maybe.
Roger's just going 0 to 100 every
Because
single
look,
time.
if I'm gonna go hard, if I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with
that's what I'm
them,
talking
like
tuxedo for.
we're gonna flex, right? We're
Yeah.
gonna G'd up from the feet up. We always say. So yeah, I would, I would try if he sold me on. I feel like I would do it. If he sold me on the idea, I would try to get him to do it independently.
No,
Obviously,
no way, no way.
Well, but let me ask you this: what if it becomes a thing? And I'm talking future state, right? Not right now, but it becomes a thing, and other people are doing it, and they got now a leg up on your kid. So now you have to kind of do it, right?
You're working for McDonald's. There is no leg up. What is your leg
Well,
up there? I mean,
All right.
like
Well,
in that
then, yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Come
yeah,
on,
so that's
like
fair.
the
You keep
leg
saying,
up that you get for working those type of jobs is the fact that you have a job. Period.
well, no, I look here.
You
I
have a
think you
job.
learn. No, no,
You're
no, no. Hear
all
me
right.
out. Hear
Tell
me out.
me.
Hear me out. I think that you learn valuable skills. You learn responsibility. You learn how to deal with people. You learn how to, interact with, from a customer service standpoint. I think there's absolutely valuable lessons to be learned that you can then take into, a desk job or, whatever you want to call office gig, right? I think there's definitely valuable
No,
lessons there for
there
sure.
is, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like you don't get any value out of it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like there, you're not you're not like negotiating working the drive-through versus the dishwashing kind of thing at that job. Like that's your leg up and or anything like that, right? Like you're going in for a specific or you're those type of jobs is usually like they do everything, right?
Yeah.
From
I
but
I mean
I
I
don't know.
saw I saw this spot where they automated the entire burger joint,
Yeah,
and so they still had like human staff to like refill the
yeah.
buns. And but I mean sadly the whole company went under during COVID. But dude, they had awesome machinery, but they proved like you could actually, and I'm going into automation now, so I'll be quiet. I get your point. You're absolutely I'm with you. I don't agree with it, but I think if it became a thing, I might be swayed to do it if it meant
That's
that it would
that's the
help
thing. Like
him.
it's like I feel like the whole
Somebody has to take a
generation
stand.
that got the helicopter parents are like kind of sticking on and all that stuff. And I don't know, man. Like
No, no, look. You got a valid point, and I'm saying I agree with you. I'm the only way that I'm where I might bend is if it became a thing, and maybe he was really looking. And I'm not saying it's whatever, but maybe he was really looking forward to whatever job it is,
hmm
right? I think that I might. If I saw that was becoming a thing, and other people were doing it, and he was like, "Dad, I really want you to come," like they're doing it, I could see him bending me and get me to do it. Like I'm saying, it's not a hill that I would die on, because it's like what 2 hours out of my day. It helps him out if it makes him happy. That's the way I look at it. But you're right. If everybody has that mentality, then it becomes a thing. So I see both sides for sure.
I'm just looking at it from the hiring manager perspective, like somebody bringing in their mother to an interview. Like,
The
Well,
principal
but it seems.
negotiator.
But did you read the article? Like, or is it frowned upon? Like, because I feel like, at least 15 years that wasn't a thing. Like, you would never, even as a kid, right?
yeah,
Like, you know, trying to get a job. I
yeah.
mean, maybe my dad or my mom dropped me off, but that was about it, right? Like, they're not coming in and actually interview. So, are they saying that the parents are actually like tag teaming it, like interviewing with them?
I I'll be truthful. I didn't read the article. All right.
Yeah. You got to send me the article. I'm all fired up
I
now.
saw this great article
I just
title.
woke up, dude.
I saw. I totally got baited into it, but like the point being that it's just not. Like to me, it's just like I don't know. When I was 10, 11, like something like that, like just walking around the neighborhood, there was a place that sold sneakers, and the
Yeah.
guy would give us flyers to distribute, and on the back of the flyer it would be like bring this flyer for a 10% discount or something like that, right?
Hmm.
And on the back of the flyer was your number, and if your number, basically if somebody bought shoes with that flyer, the guy would keep record of the kids in the neighborhood who distributed the flyers, and give them a kickback.
That's a good
And,
sales
and so, but
tactic.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like the point being that it's like my parents never even knew that I did that. It was
They
like,
knew nothing about
yeah,
it.
like
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, let me go. Like it's like, oh, I heard this, like let me go and ask the guy, and I just went in and I did it, and then like later on, I worked with my uncle, and all this stuff. But like, it was always like something like all like just me driving, you know, and I don't know, maybe that's the way that I grew up, like more independent, more, you know,
Yeah.
like
That's a
where
100% good thing.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't know,
100% good thing. Pierre, you're the same way. Same story. Drive, like work ethic,
Yeah.
showing and teaching work ethic is
Right.
a vital thing to do. You don't just, that just doesn't appear to you as a kid. You get that from watching your parents drive and work hard and the way that they interact with you
yeah,
and the things, your responsibilities, your role
Yeah.
inside the family dynamic. Because really, what a family is a team. It's a team that's harder to break up than a typical team, right? So, the interactions that occur within that dynamic are critical. That's where you learn how to do everything, and also all the outside influences that come in as well. Friends, extended family, like who you surround yourself with. It's important.
yeah.
Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Raising kids is hard. Nobody has a handbook, and I think the big thing that I heard the other day that really stuck with me is my parents didn't do a great job raising me, but they did their best, and this way I'm gonna do better and do the stuff that they didn't do, you know, basically to raise my kids. And I'm not going to be perfect, but they're going to be better than me raising their kids, you know, and that kind of like was raising the bar kind of thing.
So I like to learn, but so what do you feel that your parents and look, if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool too. But I'm just saying, like, what could they have done maybe better to make you feel like you like to hit that bar where you're like, hey, you did everything I needed you to do. Because I genuinely am always wondering, like, am I doing enough? Am I spending enough time? Am I, you know, whatever it is, right? Like I constantly got that rolling through my head, and I hope that my kids don't think that one day, right? Like, so how do I get in front of that?
You learn from the lessons, right? You have to look back, right? This is what I do. I take a look back and I see, you know what? Like I had a great family growing up. My parents were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I take all those good lessons that my mother and father taught me, and that's how I know how to teach my kids, right? That's your template, right? It's your book for raising kids. All the other stuff you learn along the way. But it's important to learn along the way is that you have to learn from your parents' mistakes too. Because once you are an adult, you now have the capability, capacity, and context to understand what they did wrong so you don't repeat it. For instance, I needed my ass beat more. I know that now, right? I needed like a heavy hand because I used to do crazy
See,
stuff.
that's the thing though. Like I got hit, you know, like basically or like basically not hit, but like when we did something wrong, you know, they would like hit us with the belt or you know like throw the shoe.
Oh, Raj knows all about that.
Yeah, like basically, you know, I don't agree with that. Like, I mean, like I'm not gonna do that to my kids. But and you know, what that taught me was, mom better not find out because I'm gonna get hit. Not what I did was wrong. I know that now, but it led me the wrong way because it led me to like, you know, I got to
Be
do
more
this.
sneaky.
I got to do this more sneaky so this way I don't get hit. You know, it was never, here's a lesson to be learned from this. And I want you to really understand what is it that we're talking about. You know, we have deep conversations with our children. And to the point that it's like, okay, well, you know, you might not like this, but here it is, and here's what we're presenting. How do you feel about that? You know, like let's dive deep into this, you know, and understand your perspective. Let me understand your perspective, and I'm gonna tell you my perspective and why I'm doing what I'm telling you to do. Mm-hmm. So those kind of things is like, you know, am I right for doing that? Maybe, who knows? But I find it to be way better than the way that I was raised, and it's no dig at my parents or anything like that. It's what they did. It's what people of that generation and my culture did.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that they did that, and what I learned is not a victim mentality or anything of that sort. Me bringing that up, it's just the fact that they did that.
It didn't
You
work.
know,
It didn't work.
To me,
It wasn't
it
effective.
didn't work for what there's stuff that even it carried on even onto my marriage that later on I had to reverse and say like I can't do these white little lies or something like that because it's not a partnership. And those kind of things are really important to understand as an adult, as a person in general, not just an adult, that you shouldn't be hiding.
That's important
Truth,
yeah.
the truth shall set you free,
Yeah.
right?
No
like the whole
lying
thing.
whatsoever, even in its smallest form of lie is a lie.
Yeah,
It can't exist in your
like
life.
live your life truthfully.
Complete
and-
truth.
and-
even
and-
if that truth is a hot steaming mess, you
I-
gotta live it.
I love my mother, everything like that, right? But like, she's a liar. And like it bothers me the amount of lies and she won't admit it.
That's
And
not true.
This is a hot topic because I know I have family probably listening, but like oh my god, like
Like to apologize to all my
she will-
family.
yeah, no, not even an apology. No, sorry, not sorry, kind of thing, right? Like this is like she will lie to you and then be like, but that's what I thought, and like keep lying to keep face, like and all that stuff, and then just like whoa, like why, like there was one time I'll tell you a quick story. They were in Paraguay and it was COVID, so there was no planes coming out, and I found a charter flight that would come out once a month out of Paraguay and come into the US. And I said, hey, like I'll pay for the flight, just get on that flight. It's in 3 days or whatever, get your stuff together, come here. And she told me something about like her health and this and that, and that the doctor said that she shouldn't be flying because of blah, blah, blah. And I know my uncle goes with like basically everything. So I just like asked my uncle, like, is that true? And he said, well, don't tell your mom, but yeah, no, that's not true. And it's like, what's the point? Just tell me straight up. I'm an adult. I'm going to deal with the consequences of not coming back, and leave me alone. It's like, what's the point?
I think sometimes you have to either accept people for what they are and just know it and call them out on it and say, look, I know it's not true. And I think if you do it enough times, you build that relationship where it's like they know that it's okay to say, hey, look, I don't want to come out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
She had a reason, but for whatever reason, she didn't want to
Yeah,
share
but-
it with you. But the lying is absolutely an issue.
You know where that comes
But
from?
Where?
As in a culture in America, in most places, most religious denominational countries, it's passive aggressive behavior. That's where lying starts, right? It's because we believe in order to get something, right, we have to beat around the bush and ease into it. Kind of say what we want to get a piece of it, but not all of it until we get all of it, right? It's a problem here. Like that's not so in other countries. It's like it's a yes or no. It's very direct. To get to a relationship in your life, even with yourself, where you it's just truth and hard truth all the time, it's an adult lesson. You don't get it like super early. At least I didn't. Now, when we talk about how when I reflect on how my parents raised me, I wish I got my ass beat more because there was times I'm thinking back now in my mind. There was times where like I need to get my ass beat, but my dad did it really well, right? He set a very, very high bar and wonderful example for me to reach as a person and a man, right? When he did hit me, right, it was because I really mouthed off it was completely unacceptable. When I was being inappropriate and unacceptable, he was like, you can't ever exhibit that behavior again. And he would give me a choice. He would be like, listen, you can have 3 straps of this belt. Just take them, right? Or I can hold your hand and you can try to get away from me while I swing the belt. And I tried to say, all right, I'll try and get away. And that was like in a circle. He used to call it spinning me in a circle, right? And that's how I learned, right? That happened one time in my life, but it made an impression, right? Now, after that, right, he told me why what I did embarrassed him and caused him to be like disappointed in me. And because he built respect up with me, the remorse and shame I felt from letting my father down was enough to teach me not
There
to do
you
that
go.
again.
Like that was more impactful than the actual
Super
hit.
impact. Yeah, it was super impactful.
So that's where I mean, like like the whole hitting thing. It's like, I don't know. I personally, I just don't believe it.
Now,
Not-
the other
well,
end of that, right? Story, right? So we were talking about like
raising children, yeah.
like lying, right? So to tie all this in, later in life, my mom used to give little lies to my dad. So my dad didn't like that my mom used to gamble, and she was a heavy gambler. She loved gambling. She would be in the high roller room, like winning, losing. She always saying she broke even. No one ever knew. No one ever knew. There would just be new windows in the house one day. Like she would hit big, and there would just be new stuff sometimes. We didn't know what happened. She had this, bank account that no one knew about. But this one day, she started wrapping me into her white lies, and she's like, "Listen, if your dad asks where I was today, tell him I was at the heart doctor getting tests done at the cardiac surgeon." I was like, "Where were you at?" She's like, "I was at the casino." I was like, "That's horrible. Don't put that on me. I'm not going to lie for you. That's terrible."
My grandfather couldn't eat fatty foods because of his cholesterol and all the stuff. So he would get us to go buy these empanadas. Like the grandchildren.
Yeah, I mean,
go be like, and he would do it. It was, I mean, it's funny now, but in some ways, but like basically the point being, then he would be like, "Here's money. Go buy 4 empanadas, 3 for me, 1 for you." Which always
It's not a
felt,
bad deal.
well, it felt slighted. Like it's like, wait,
Yeah.
why you get more? Which, but
Well, was
I
he
didn't-
paying?
Huh? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go. That's why. But I didn't know it was against the rules for me to go buy. Like
that's why he
I
recruited
didn't
you.
do it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh man. But yeah, like the whole raising children. There's no manual for it. There's no. I'm sure there's stuff that we are doing that is completely bad, and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, why? You didn't do this for me, or you didn't do that for me."
Experience
But,
that now.
like yeah,
So nothing is perfect, right?
nothing is
there's-
gonna be perfect, and I'm okay with that. But I'm sure we'll do my best to make sure that they can stand up on their own.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point to me. No matter how they think about their experience, the one thing that I want my kids to know is I want them to look at the mistakes that I made and not make it with their kids, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm going to make mistakes. I accept and embrace it.
Yeah,
I learn from them. That's the difference.
that's really good. What about you, Bear? Any insights?
I agree with both of you. I agree with the not hitting. Not saying that I've never spanked Little P, but I could count on. It was when he was much younger, and before I saw the impact that it had on him, it devastated him. And he's a very sensitive kid. He's different in that sense. I've never spanked the girls. Now, Meg sure has, but it's been few and far between. And yeah. So, and the other piece Raj, the piece I agree with from you is learning from your parents' mistakes and learning what they did well, right? Because I feel like no matter what, I don't care who I'm talking to, I can learn something from someone, even if it's not what not to do, right? And so my parents worked a lot. My father was working 2 jobs. If he slept 5 hours a day, that was a lot. And he worked 6 days a week. Only day off he had was Sunday, and technically he still went to work Sunday night into Monday. So, I mean, the guy was just a really, really hard worker, but he didn't get to spend a lot of time with me, right? And we didn't get a chance to really develop, that bond. And so, like, Piero and I are very close. Like, I spend a tremendous amount of time with him. I spend good time with the girls as well, but the bulk amount of my time gets spent with him, and I think a lot of that is because of my father and just not being able to spend time. So yeah, I agree with both. I don't believe in spanking. I don't think it works. I think that after I saw the impact that it had on him, I was like, you know what, you hit the nail on the head, Jose. Is it just teaches them to not trust you and to lie more? And I tell them, I'm like, just tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Just tell me the truth, and we can work it out.
Yeah.
And I found that that's way more effective, and you build that, that relationship with them where they feel like they can trust you. They could come to you with anything. They might have been out partying, maybe had a few too many drinks. They'll call you and, say, hey, come pick me up, stuff like that, right? You gotta be able to have that level of trust with them. So
Yeah.
I agree with both, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and every once in a while, I mean, like you see these articles of like, oh, what Gen Z is doing, or what this, the new generation, they don't do this, they don't do that, right? But I can tell you that I feel that more and more in person, I see people like like you guys, like people from Scouts, like when I'm doing some of those like board of reviews for like their Eagle. And all that stuff. And I'm seeing these kids that are, growing up with good values. There's a lot of that. And I think the news, the headlines catches our eyes, and we see some of the stuff and can maybe like put a first thought onto things, but it's really the things that we see live, the things that we're surrounded by, and the people that we surround ourselves by, is how it's going to be. And I see the future as bright. I don't see it as like, oh, they don't do this or they don't do that.
As long as the AI overlord runs the show, the future is bright. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's hard, man. It's hard to, like think about what the future holds and all that stuff, but like, I don't know. I go back and forth with like, how I feel about it, but yeah. But I think our kids are gonna do fine.
Oh, I mean, it's just consistent improvement is what you need to. Actually, the most important thing, and this is, I always kind of fall back on this idea that early on, when my kids were really young, I taught them how to teach themselves. So instead of asking me how to do a math problem, instead of asking me how to write a paper or how do I wash dishes, right, I would show them how to learn it on their own, how to think and problem solve creatively, even if they didn't have the internet or Google. But Google was a good tool. I was like, listen, if you need to learn how to do this thing in school, well, there's Khan Academy. There's this. Like, and only try that for 10 minutes. Try that new thing for 10 minutes, and then you're done. And you're done. Come tell me what you learned.
Teach them to fish.
Yeah, teach them to fish. Then come and give me the summary of how fishing went.
Dude, the other day, my son had a paper to write, and he had a good idea and good kind of thing, but I kind of wanted to run it by ChatGPT to kind of work out some things, right? And went on his school Chromebook, and they blocked it.
You got to be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful. Well,
Yeah.
But Jose, it's not only that. So my daughter got flagged for supposedly using AI to generate some of her content.
Yeah.
So she was like, I was just using it for like ideation to help me out, but I wrote the vast majority of it.
Yeah.
And she like legitimately like had beef with the teacher over this. Like, look, this is not written by AI. Yes, I used AI to do some, ideation, but outside of that, I wrote everything.
Yeah.
So those tools don't work 100%, but yeah, it's fun. The
No,
schools
but, like,
need to adopt it. Is what
They
I'm
do
saying.
need to adopt it. They need to embrace it.
I was talking to a teacher the other day who he's like, oh, yeah, we have some tools to catch it and all this stuff. And I was like, look, man, like you just gotta look at it like a tool. Like it didn't help you. And it's like, yeah, one of my favorite quotes that I've heard is like, a brick can build a house or break a window. You know, and you know, like whatever you do with that thing, it's up to you, right? So it's a tool. You know, like don't be scared of it, but you know, at the same time, it can do damage
Yep.
if you don't pay attention to it. So I mean, I was just kind of like running it, like, okay, that we here's the questions to write the essay. Here's the essay. Did we satisfy all the questions, right? Like that kind of a thing, right? Or like, can you help me with the grammar better on this? You know, like
Yeah,
things like that.
that's fair.
Like that. I
Right.
think that's fair. That's not cheating. You know, I don't think
It's
it
look here.
teaches me like, okay, you know, I wrote this, but here's a better way, or like here's the punctuation that you really need to use for that. You know, like it's like you know, understand what the difference is. You know,
Oh, 100%. My problem with it is that the schools need to learn how to incorporate GPT and teach the kids how to use it as a tool to teach themselves how to do things, right? Don't try to block it. Don't try to stifle technology, because
yeah,
this particular technology is moving exponentially. And you know what? Not for nothing, but you don't have good tools to, one, identify its use, and two, blocking it an effort in futility, because kids will find a way around it. They will just use it on another device,
yeah,
copy paste and move it in. So why bother? Work a way into make it a useful tool, and tell them, say, look, you need to build those synapses. You need to learn this content. You need to generate. So here's effective, productive ways to use it.
yeah,
And, you know, and just trust that they're going to do that. The kid that decides to use it to cheat fully, well, you know what? They're just not going to learn anything. So instill that in them.
yeah,
You won't learn anything. Go ahead and use it, but just know that you've earned nothing, you've learned nothing,
yeah,
and you will struggle later on. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's really fascinating to watch because like he was learning, what was it, another thing. I think it was about the Revolutionary War,
Oh, nice.
and there was a question in the study guide, and he's like, I don't have the book with me. I can't answer that question right now. I was like, well, look it up. He's like,
Yeah.
no, we can't look it up. It has to be the answer from the book, otherwise. And it's like it's a definition. Like you can't
A
tell me
date is a
that
date is a date.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you can't tell me that that's gonna like a change, you know, who you know this person is or whatever. At least learn it. I want you to understand the answer. I don't want you to memorize the answer. And
Right.
and it's like, do you understand what happened? Do you understand about this? Like that's what I want you to get away from this. Like not can you memorize, because he's really really good at memorizing. He's tremendous.
That's an
Like
awesome skill, though.
school to him, like now it this point it is becoming kind of easy, right? And we're going through a frustration right now because he says he wants to take honors math in high school. Well, in
Oh,
order to
nice.
take honors math in high school and AP and all that stuff, you you have to start in middle school already with honors and take algebra 1 so you
Yep.
can start high school with algebra 2 and then end up with calculus at the end. And it's like, what the hell? Well, nobody told us that.
Calculus
When
in
we
high
first
school,
when we
critical.
first got into middle school, the whole intro was that don't pressure your kid. Your kid's not going to go to Harvard because he took he blah, 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 blah. Like this whole like lay down of like, you know, like stop being like basically pressuring and everything like that. And now
Let's
they're
have
that
cake.
it's like my kid doesn't want to do drugs. My kid
It
doesn't
was-
want to do that. He wants to
Wants
take
to kill
freaking
it.
honors, you know,
He
math.
wants to kill it, man. He's
And
on
now
top.
we're like struggling to find, and they say, oh, you have to find a place that would accredit like algebra 1 or something like that over the summer. and
You
then
could swing that though, but it sucks they didn't tell you.
how, you know,
Yeah,
like
how
where?
it's not that easy to. So I
Oh,
have some resources for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
I was gonna say
There's
like a
learning
little,
centers that will do
yeah.
that work with this like around here that'll go in and they'll it's kind of like a tutoring testing session. They have the resources to get they could be like, yo, this student is performing in math. You are doing a disservice by not allowing them to take this at this
Yeah.
point in time. Like they can do that for you.
Yeah. So what we got away with is kind of like, okay, you know, yeah, he's like totally down for doing algebra during the summer, and try
Awesome.
to get that, which is great. But at the same time, it's like, okay, just let you know, nothing is promised here. So if
Yeah.
you do this, and then you still have to be, you know, you're still not going down that route to get to that point, don't be disappointed. Like you'll be the smartest kid at this, rather than be, you know, like really good or average at the honors, you know, track.
And I think it's important to notice appreciate the foundational knowledge that he's trying to accomplish right now. So the goal is to have calculus before college. People that have calculus before college set themselves up for that engineering problem solving mindset,
Yeah.
which can lend itself to all the tough sciences and math, physics, computer science, physics, like all those things. Those are like, that's how you easily step in to those type of college, the most technical college degrees that are geared towards that.
It's all math.
Like the Tims of the world, right? Like Tim who
Yeah.
we work with, his mind works the same way. Right? He's math geek, knows it all. You know, he often talks about nerd school. Like those types of problems though, like that's a good thing. And it's good to put, if that's what you do, that's what you enjoy, and that's what he wants to do, you should 100% drive forward.
Well,
Yeah.
Raj, yeah, it's awesome that he's doing that. Hopefully he gets it. You know, fingers crossed for him. But when you hit the machine learning part, Raj, in the
I'm in it now,
AI
yeah.
training, you're in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, bust out the algebra and calculus. So they go deep. They go
Yeah.
deep. But it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So luckily, Lily hit principal's honors twice.
That's awesome.
In middle school. So yeah, I think we'll be. I thank you for sharing that, Jose. I didn't know that was a thing. So hopefully, it sets her up when
Yeah.
she gets out of middle school. Now,
Yeah. No,
That's good.
it's definitely. But yeah, like I said, no parenting manual.
So here's my thing with GPT, right?
Yeah.
Generative AI. I'm trying to like I've shown my kids and others like the way that I use it, right? And I've seen this, and this is a guess. I don't have metrics on this. This is my life experience with work and with my personal life.
yeah,
I'm seeing people who adopt it and use it the right way as a co-pilot to ask questions, to dive deeper and be more creative in their thinking and to problem solve. 5x productivity. I experience it myself. Like things come faster. 100% things are coming faster, and I see that for others as well. It's not for kids, it's different, right? So they see this amazing thing that can answer all their questions or even do work for them, right? That's where the teaching needs to come in. Because I can tell you this, if a teacher has to spend their time running papers, making sure that they're not plagiarized, they're wasting time, right?
Yeah.
That means that
Huge waste of
you
time.
have failed teaching some critical thing, right? If they're worried about 38 students plagiarizing, you're not doing the job the right way, right?
No.
So that's when I talk about foundational knowledge and learning, that's what I mean. The tools are meant to help us be more creative. They cannot teach foundational knowledge. For instance, ChatGPT, generative AI machine learning, knows nothing about the new advances in physics or mathematics because no one talked about it on the internet. It's in like 4 people's brains that are writing a paper right now that hasn't been published, that had like a TEDx talk. Those tooling, machine learning, these AI tools, they don't understand math and physics yet. When they do, that's a different story. Now they have become completely creative, right? Until they do, they can't really replace the foundational knowledge that humanity as a whole has built up over millennia. It's just another tool to make you work faster.
Yeah.
and to be more creative and to help you along. Because the one thing that most people love in life is that the more I can accomplish, the better I feel about myself as a person. That's a valuable lesson. That's a valuable thing.
Yeah.
Totally agree. It is a tool to augment yourself. And I think that, and Raj and Jose, we've talked about this before. There will be two kinds of people in the world once this technology gets to full AGI. There's going to be people that know how to use it and have been using it, and there's going to be people that fall behind. That's just where the technology is heading. It's very disruptive. It's like when electricity became a thing. We are living in very exciting times. It's a game changer. And I don't know that everyone sees the writing on the wall yet, just how disruptive it's going to be.
And Jose, you were telling me about this a while ago. You were saying that having labor skills is like an important thing. How you yourself once thought like, hey, like, you know, it might be good to like skill back up on labor because as technology advances through time, a lot of jobs are going to be swallowed up by it. A lot of things are going to change, but what's not going to change quickly is water and electrical delivery to homes and where people live, growing food, right? Now, they might be augmented by technology, and knowing and understanding the technology that augments that and working with it is the job. But like, that's the key, like, is understanding the delineation. But I see the writing on the wall, and it's in the paper. If you look in the news, like, jobs are just being like chopped across the board.
Google just laid off 30 to 40,000 employees.
Spotify just got rid of 500, like, or something like that. They're like, it's going, that's a sign of efficiency, right? It's not a bad thing if we know how to, get people.
So not to dive deep into this topic, but what types of jobs are they like customer service kind of thing?
Everything. Oh, are you talking about Google specifically?
Yeah.
I don't know in which department, but it was in the article. I'll definitely find it and drop it to you.
Okay.
But I want to say
Content
I
writing.
think it was in their content creation or marketing department. It was one or the other. Yeah.
Anytime you need to write words that are going to appear on a website,
Yeah.
that job is 10x more productive than before. So one worker is 10 times more productive at knowing and understanding the market and producing content.
That was the whole thing with the Twitter thing, right? Like her X, Elon Musk like fired like 80% of the people there.
Why did he do
turns
that?
out that you don't need them all.
Dude, wait. Did you guys see the story of him with the servers and just unplug? He was like, "Why do we need the server?" Nobody in the room could tell him what it was used for. He was like, "Okay." He went and pulled the plug. They were like, "No. We absolutely need." He was like, "What does it do?" Nobody could tell him. Unplugged it, dropped it in a truck, and shipped it off to another colo that they were trying to move to. He was like, "Nothing happened." He was like, "It was fine." He was like, "Sometimes you just got to go with your gut, you know."
That's awesome. That's so funny.
Well,
He could have brought Twitter down.
So here's a cool story. When I first started learning how to write code in Penn State, they sent us to Abington Hospital. I had a great teacher, right, who was like, you know what, we're going to go on each class day, we're going to try and go to a business and see how they implement technology, right?
You went to a hospital and unplugged somebody's like life support. Let's see what happens.
So what we did
story.
was we went to Abington Hospital and we got to tour their server room. Now this was far enough back enough where they have internal servers and they connect each satellite office connects to the hospital by a fiber line. So it was a really big project that the network team did, right? Multi-million-dollar thing, but it was redundant. And we were learning about redundancy in networking class, right? And the CTO was telling us all about his implementation, and he did a really good job. And at the end of it, he went, "You see these two cables over here, these two Ethernet cables? These connect all of the satellite offices to us, and it feeds all the data, and they're redundant. I can unplug one of these cables and nothing will happen." And he ripped that cable. He just pulled it. He pulled it live during the day when surgeries are going on and they're saying he pulled it and there was zero interruption.
His
of
DR
anything.
plan was tight. He knows.
He
knows
was
exactly
that
what,
confident.
Yeah.
But
Love it.
that was a really important lesson about
Oh, yeah.
redundancy. Like, why do you need two?
Yeah. And with that, let's wrap it up. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Have a good
Later.
Ciao.
Bye.